talk about is Felix Ojo was crystal balled to Texas by Justin Wells with like a 60% confidence rating about a week and a half ago now. And this is someone that we really would love to get on the 40 acres. I think we both said he's in our top 5 biggest recruits to get, him and John Turntine. So it'd be really awesome to get him. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, what is there not to say about him? Like, depending on the service, he's anywhere from like top 10 to top 25 overall. And the wild thing about Felix Ojo is that he is like one of the younger players in the class. Like, I think he will turn 18 like while he's in spring camp, or like he's a July birthday, I'm pretty sure. So like he is 6'6", 275, 280, and he is the youngest guy in the class. So like that's a puppy. That is a puppy that's going to grow into a big dog, right? But there's a reason why everybody wants him, right? He's got the offer from Oklahoma. He's got the offer from Ohio State. He's got the offer from Ole Miss, right? It's like he's got all of. There's a reason why everybody wants him. He is a big physical tackle. He's got a massive frame that I think will grow into. And this seems wild to say. He will probably put on 20 to 30 pounds when he gets to campus, right? He'll end up being able to play somewhere probably closer to 295 or 300 pounds at 6'6", got the frame to support it. Big physical offensive tackle. And he's a guy who gives you a lot of versatility, can play really on either side, but like 33, almost 34-inch arm, like wingspan, everything you want from a tackle. Like there's no thing he can do better to improve his stock. Like physically, play-wise, like again, he is a specimen.
Yeah, I mean, and he's exactly the frame Kyle Flood wants and what Texas wants. When we talk about long, athletic, versatile, I mean, he doesn't really have to be versatile because he's going to play offensive tackle, but he can play probably anywhere you want on the offensive line. And the cool thing is, instead of having to strip weight off, which is always harder to do, and that's why I appreciated Cam Williams, like, he worked his ass off to get down from 370, and I think he's listed at like 320 now. He's lost 50 pounds, and he looks really good, and he's going to be a top 45, top 50 pick in the NFL draft. This is a guy you can put weight on his frame. He's 6'6". He's only 275 pounds. You're going to want to put 25 to 30 pounds on him, and there's a good chance he grows even more. Like, he could be 6'7", 6'8" by the time he steps on campus. Kind of reminds me, he's a better prospect of Nicholas Brooks, who we got in last year's class.
Yeah.
Really big dude. Obviously, Nicholas Brooks was definitely a little bit heavier, but just overall, the same type of frame, gigantic human being. We're talking, I think Nicholas Brooks was 6'7", 350. So just a gigantic human. I think he's lost a little bit of weight as well. So it'd be really awesome to get Felix Ojo in there. The only thing I see from his tape that's negative, he can get a bit grabby at times, but again, that's easy to teach. And honestly, guys, I would rather you be a little bit grabby than not in position not to be able to grab. So I think he does a pretty good job with everything else, and that's very easy to get out. And honestly, some games you don't want that out. There are games you can get away with in the SEC where they're going to let you hold a little bit more. So that may not even be an issue.
Yeah, get the right color gloves, right, and you might be okay. But I think you're absolutely right. And it's a lot harder to coach guys to be aggressive than it is to, like, coach the aggression out of them. And again, he is a guy who, and I say this a lot about these guys, he hasn't had to be as technically sound as some of these smaller guys because he's just that dude, right? You walk on campus and you see him like, yep, that's the guy. So you don't have to be as, and I'm not saying this is about all or like a universality thing, but like they're just those guys that like, I'm just that dude and I don't have to actually be as technically sound because he's just the biggest, meanest, nastiest thing on the field. And again, I'm not taking a shot at the kid. He will develop and he will develop. And I bet you'll see a difference in his junior tape to his senior tape because he's got that kind of coaching out at Mansfield. Like he's got great coaches. He's got the opportunity to develop and become a better prospect. I say better prospect, like he's a top 10 kid, but like become a better player. And you know, you want to see a guy progress in his tape. So if you go watch his sophomore to junior tape, you see some progression there. And we'll probably see that from his junior to senior tape. And again, once Kyle Flood gets a hold of him, it's going to continue to develop.
No, 100%. And it kind of reminds me, I saw a video on Twitter of like a 7'1", 12-year-old on the basketball court. And like, how does this guy even prepare? Because he doesn't go up against the right people to play with. It's kind of the same thing with Felix Ojo. Like this guy's 6'6" in high school at 275 pounds.
Yeah.
There probably isn't a guy that's his peer most like 95% of the time when he's playing. Yeah. So it's the job of the coaches that do recruit him and do get him of teaching him how to actually play the position of football. You listen, this is 90% about genetics. And listen, I like this guy's genetics. I think he's going to be a really good player. It is my job to make him a really good player with the technique I'm coaching. That is the job of the coach. And like I said, this isn't a guy that I watch and he's flailing around, really
No.
weird looking on. It's not that. That's why he's a top 10 prospect and not like the 300th prospect with these measurables. So there's really not a lot to even teach here. He's kind of like I said, a turnkey guy. Like he can step on to campus, teach him a little bit, and I think he can play at Texas right away on the offensive line. So, and we need that. Like I said, I think we're going to lose Trevor Gooseby. I'm pretty confident in saying that with everything coming out of camp and the way I saw him play last year. So you're going to have to replace your left tackle again in back-to-back years, and I think this guy could do that.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, you're going to have to continue to recruit really well. And Kyle, it's not an issue with a guy like Kyle Flood, right? My biggest worry is that Kyle Flood gets the itch that he wants to be a head coach again and goes somewhere else. I hope he doesn't. Kyle, if you're watching this, we love you. We want you here forever. Maybe we'll pay you like a head coach. Who knows? But like he's got, again, you've got a really healthy room there. You've got a young room, but you've got a healthy room. And I think Texas has the guys in the barn, the horses in the barn, to be able to put something together. And Trevor Gooseby, notwithstanding, like again, as we go back and watch last week, you talked about it. I picked I picked Brandon Baker as my breakout player because Trevor Gooseby seems to be ahead of schedule, right? And if Trevor Gooseby's that good, just Brandon Baker could be really, really good. So again, I'm rambling. Texas has an opportunity to really add a ton of depth to an already really deep room. And Ojo on any other campus probably walks on and is competing for at least the 2 deep, and he may not have to. And that's the luxury that Texas has. And that's something you can sell that kid, right? Hey, we don't need you to come in and be the savior of the offensive line. Right, we just need you to come in and learn the position, learn the game, learn the speed, be the best you can be as a third teamer. And then if you're ahead of schedule, you'll see the field. Right? He doesn't have to come in and be pressed into service too early.
No, that's very true as well. We're going to move